Your top must have the new on the O4 unit. Thank you for $2, Droner Boner. I have no idea what you're saying. Your top must-haves on the new O4 unit. Oh, I see. I got it. So there's a lot of rumors that the DJI O4 is coming, and Droner Boner wants to know what I would like to see in the new O4 unit. Obviously, more range and penetration. Lower latency, although I don't think we're going to get it, but like if you just want my wish list. Lower latency, like maybe some kind of a racing mode similar to what Walksnail did, where you sacrifice some range and penetration for enhanced latency. Better support for Betaflight OSD and ArduPilot OSD and iNav OSD, which currently they support Betaflight pretty well, but not the others very well. I feel like the range and penetration of the O3 is pretty freaking good. So I actually like, obviously you'd always like more, but frankly, I would keep the same range and penetration if you would give me lower latency. It's a shame that the O3 has no aftermarket cameras. I assume the O4 is going to be the same. I don't think they'll go backwards. But like the variety of cameras you can get for the Vista is really nice. RunCam just released a Night Eagle for the RunCam Link, which is the Vista, which is like a really good low light camera. So those are some things I'd like. I don't see, like, a lot of the things people are asking for, like compatibility with the V2s. Don't hold your freaking breath. Like, that would be nice, but don't hold your breath. You know? It'd be real interesting to see what comes up there. Tyler Valker, I think, says, my OSD says my high volt batteries are at 4.2 volts, even though I charged to 435. Is there something I need to change in Betaflight? Yeah, you may need to change the voltage scale. However, sometimes when you charge a battery to 435, as soon as you take it off the charger, it comes down again. So I would first actually verify with like a multimeter what the actual voltage of the battery is. The best way to do that would be to plug the battery in and then with the multimeter measure voltage at the ESC, or even better, measure voltage at the flight controller if the flight controller has a conveniently located VBAT pad. Because sometimes the voltage will be up here, but then when you plug it in, maybe it dips a little bit. But you want to cross-check that the voltage is accurate. If the voltage is inaccurate, then adjust the voltage scale in the power and battery tab to bring it up. However, you want to eliminate all the other possible sources of inaccuracy. Does your charger need calibrating? So again, use a multimeter. Don't just use a battery checker, because battery checkers are often, not always, but often inaccurate. Multimeters are usually pretty accurate. Even if they're not like lab-grade calibrated multimeters, they're usually pretty accurate. So measure the voltage when it comes right off the charger and see what it is. Is it 435 or is it 430? Plug it into the quad, measure the voltage at the ESC or at the flight controller. What is it? And then if you're absolutely sure that it's inaccurate, adjust the voltage scale in the power and battery tab. Deny FPV says, I have issues getting LQ and Crossfire. Getting LQ on my goggles. Got them on my TX66, but not visually in Betaflight. RSSI off and telemetry is off. You need telemetry on. You have to have telemetry on, or that won't work. That I think is your problem. So I think is that
telemetry's only back to the radio, right?
Are you sure? Because I think that too, but I think somebody told me that wasn't correct.
8% sure. I'm 98% sure.
I don't know.
Because I don't use telemetry, so I never turn it on, and my OSD still works.
You still have LQ?
Yeah.
Okay, well, fine. I would have telemetry on personally, but you need RSSI channel disabled. How about that? RSSI channel disabled.
He says RSSI off.
Well, maybe he means RSSI ADC. You need RSSI ADC off, and you need RSSI channel disabled. And at that point, LQ should work. Assuming you have both TX and RX wired up. Yeah.
Yeah, because he doesn't specify what he has. He says Crossfire, but he doesn't specify what video link he has. So if you have like analog or a modern HD video link, your LQ is going to come in over the link quality in the OSD.
If it's V2 DJI, then it's not going to work.
If it's old DJI, then you're actually going to need to use the RSSI element and map it to an aux channel to get LQ.
Or use WTFOS, which is...
Or use WTFOS to route it, yeah.
Yeah, so if you have anything except the V2 goggles with the Vista, if you have analog, if you have HD0, if you have Walksnail, or if you have the G2 or Integra goggles, then you have full support for the DJI OSD, and LQ should work if it's working. The V2 goggles or the V1 goggles with the Vista VTX, those ones you have to root the goggle and install WTFOS to get the OSD working. Okay. Well, hopefully that was helpful. Hi, Joshua. Love the vids. I've been looking for a new build, and I'm wondering, what is your opinion on the best motor prop combo for 6S using the Speedy F405 V4? Okay, so the first thing I'll tell you is it doesn't matter what flight controller or ESC you're using. The motor and prop combo is not really going to be related to that. So don't worry about that. The best motor or prop combo for 6S. So that's like asking, what's the best vehicle to drive? So you haven't given enough information. We need more information. Like, all you've told me is that you're doing 6S. You haven't even told me the type of flying you're doing. So, like, you could be using anything from a 3-inch up to a 7-inch, maybe an 8 or a 9 or 10-inch even on 6S. You know, you just want the best. And that's not really, it's not possible to really answer that question without knowing more about what it is you're trying to do. Who's to is says longer range, high efficiency. So for longer range, I would get a 7-inch prop with a 28 to a 30 millimeter motor, like a Brother Hobby 2806, I think is the one they make, or an FPV Cycle 30 millimeter motor. That's the answer. Like, that's actually pretty definitively the best answer today for long range and high efficiency. There you go. That's the answer. Right. If you asked me 5-inch, I wouldn't be as clear. But for 7-inch, it's a pretty straightforward. Goggles X. Betaflight OSD always shows 0 for RSSI and LQ. Other things are correctly shown. Any idea where the problem could be? Yeah, I have a great idea where the problem could be. I feel like we answered this question last week, but, you know, for a super chat, I'll answer it again. I'm easy. You never know. Here in the receiver tab, make sure that RSSI ADC is off, and make sure that RSSI channel is disabled. At that point, if your receiver supports those things, like Express LRS, Crossfire, and Ghost do support those things, FreeSky does not. If your receiver supports those things, they should be working. That's the short and sweet answer, and it really is the answer.